What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Capital Hungry Self-Development live video. We're going back to back this week with double self-development videos because this one is something in the small community that I have that has been extremely highly requested, more on the fitness and nutrition side, right? So, as the title says, today I'm going to break down the simple science of losing fat and also on the flip side of putting on muscle if either one, you're a fat piece of shit who doesn't want to be a fat piece of shit, or two, you're a skinny little weakling who doesn't want to be a skinny little weakling, okay? So, everything, all the information that I'm going to be giving to you is going to be very blunt, very straightforward, backed by science, and I'm sorry to say is not going to include any shortcuts, any mysterious powder for you to take that's going to help you lose weight. There's no magic pill, there's no magic diet. There's no magic workout plan that you can follow that can give you a shortcut to the body you want. It does not exist. Shortcuts to success do not exist. Shortcuts to success are just sales tactics by marketers to sell a product, service, or good to a consumer looking for the path of least resistance, looking for the most convenient, easy way to their possible end goal. Okay? Now, so let's look at the body in itself. The human body is a working machine. We generate heat, we generate energy, we generate watts of power. You know what I mean? And just like any other machine, we take in fuel, we consume that fuel, and we potentially use that fuel to in terms of productivity. So for us, the human machine is fueled by food. We're supposed to take that nutrients, take that energy, and externalize it into production, whether it may be working your job and having the energy for your job, running a business, creating a product, any productive work from an academic standpoint to a physical standpoint. That is how our bodies are fueled on top of having the efficient rest. Okay, so losing fat or gaining muscle simply follows the law of thermodynamics. For those of you who do not know, just you simply sitting there right now, your body, through its minor little twitches and movements, as well as through its minor little twitches and movements, as well as through using of your mentality and using of your brain, you are burning calories just by sitting there, okay? And your body is always constantly burning calories to use this for energy, for again, externalizing productivity, right? The issue in our modern society is that the amount of people that are constantly over consuming calories but no longer burning the efficient amount of calories is too high. So, the law of thermodynamics is simply as you consume, in terms of talking about the body and consumption, is as you are actively using your body, depending on your height, age, weight, as well as your activity level, the calories you are putting in are getting burned, consumed, and used, and everything else that is not getting burned, consumed, and used is being saved in excess. So any calories that go above your maintenance level, which I will talk about in a second, all those extra calories and carbs get stored as fat. Because back in the day, before modern society and all these conveniences, stores of fat were used during emergency times. When you did not have access to food, when you did not have access to resources, your body would store any extra calories, carbs, and nutrients for your body into fat reserves. That's why whenever somebody is starving or has gone days without food, what burns first on their body is fat. Then muscle burns after and starts to get destroyed. But your body will go consume and use that fat first, which is just excess energy that's being stored there that's not being actively used. Okay? So, with that being said, that means the only way you can gain fat and you can gain weight and become a fat piece of shit is if you are consuming more calories than your body is burning off. That is the simple law of thermodynamics. So that gives us a lot of information to work with. That also means that to simply lose and burn fat, that you have to be consuming less calories than your maintenance level or burning more calories, okay? It has to be one, the other, or the combination of both. So, first of all, with the technology and information we have access to, the first thing, and I'm talking to the fat motherfuckers first, right? The people with man titties and the people who feel heavy breathing and walking up the stairs makes them tired, or even the chubby motherfuckers who are starting to get a belly and starting to get some plump titties from doing absolutely nothing, or you got the muffin top or the love handles, and you don't really want this. Who wants to look like that, or who wants to feel that way or be that way? Probably not anybody, right? I'm not trying to be like get canceled or be fat phobic, but why would anybody want that? Why would it's just not healthy? There's no benefits behind it. Like, what's the real reason? You know what I mean? So, anyways, first you have to go to Google, search a calorie calculator, a calorie maintenance calculator. Within this calculator, be honest, you put in your age, you put in your height, you put in your weight, and you put in your activity level throughout the week, right? And be honest when you're putting in these metrics. It's going to spit out some numbers to you, and it's going to tell you your calorie maintenance level. That will be the number of calories you need to eat in a day to maintain your current fat ass body, all right? Which you don't want to do. What you have to do is be in a calorie deficit. This doesn't mean starve yourself. This doesn't mean stop eating completely. This doesn't mean enter some drastic diet. No. This means from that calorie maintenance level, which is the number of calories you have to eat in a day to maintain your current body and weight, you have to decrease that by 100, 200, 300 calories and maintain that level continuing further. So you have to be in a calorie deficit, okay? Now, if you decrease the amount of food you eat in a day relevant to what your body is actually burning and keeping it below your maintenance level, simply science, after months, you're going to be losing weight. You're going to be cutting down fat. It's just the law of thermodynamics. Your body is gonna start using and burning through that extra stored fat, which is just sitting there doing nothing, giving you a gut. Okay, so that is step one to burning fat, and that doesn't even include exercising. So remember, the only way to gain fat on your fucking body is if you're eating more calories than you are burning off, right? Or if you're already fat, you're eating a consistent amount of calories every day that's maintaining that fat poundage, that fat level, all right? So number one, the law of thermodynamics states that if you follow that science and you enter a calorie deficit every single day, and this doesn't mean decrease your calories every single day. This means, let's just say you're 6 feet tall, you're freaking 250 pounds or 300 pounds fat, you're 25 years old, and you don't work out at all. And it says that your maintenance calories to maintain that current fat is 3,000 calories. You have to decrease that down and start counting your calories every day and tracking what you are eating and cut that down to maybe 2,700, 2,500 calories. The only negative aspect of this is you're going to have to deal with cravings. You're going to feel hungry. Your stomach's going to rumble. You're going to feel aggravated. It's all just mental shit that you can't be a bitch. You have to go through this stuff and become a stronger person mentally and physically, right? So number one is staying in a calorie deficit, consuming less calories than your maintenance level to ensure that your body is burning more calories than it's storing for extra fat. All right? Number two, the only way you can lose fat is either if you consume less calories, right? The only way you can lose fat is if you consume less calories or burn more calories. So how can you burn calories? How can you move your machine even more to consume that fuel and burn it off? Physical activity and exercise. Now, for the fat motherfuckers, you don't have to jump in the gym right away and start weight training and start trying to build muscle. What you want to do, and you can do that, but usually this becomes very difficult from somebody starting from losing weight. It's like going from 0 to 100. I would much rather you transition into this and take baby steps. So as you're fat, and number one, you're starting to count your calories. You know your maintenance level. You're decreasing that. You're decreasing the amount of calories you eat every day on top of eating more nutrient dense food. Make healthier food choices. Learn to cook for yourself. Meal prep. Eat very simple, healthy proteins like chicken or lean ground beef or fish or whatever it may be, coupled with some nice carbs, sometimes rice, protein, sometimes vegetables. Your dark greens are great for you and so forth. Experiment, have fun with cooking, make different dishes, play around with spices. But all of that is going to be much more nutrient dense. It's even going to save you more money than eating processed foods or going on Uber Eats or going on Skip the Dishes and just constantly spending money on whatever you crave, spending money on what's going to taste good. Stop fueling your body and destroying your livelihood just because you want something that tastes good or that's going to make you feel good for the moment when you know it's deteriorating your livelihood long term. Make better decisions for yourself because I don't want to be rude, but once you understand biology, once you understand the input equals the output, a lot of this shit becomes common sense as you start to learn about it and connect the dots. And you don't even really need to dive that deep into learning to connect these dots, right? So, introduce some physical activity. That could be riding the bike every day, going for a jog, doing some yoga. I don't care. Working out, playing a sport, something that on top of your calorie deficit is also going to be burning calories. Moving your body, working the engine of your body to use that fuel instead of saving it and pocketing it as fat. You know what I mean? So that's it. And that's the two steps for losing fat is either being in a calorie deficit or spending more time burning calories. Now, to have consistent change is going to require the discipline to repeat these behaviors and tasks day in and day out for a period of weeks, months, and years. Okay? This isn't going to come overnight. You're not going to, you maybe might see some beginner noob gains, they like to call it, in your first month or two, but the real changes in your body are going to accumulate and compound over months of doing these required little tasks of counting your calories, being in a calorie deficit, eating healthier, more nutrient dense food, cooking for yourself and grocery shopping and meal prepping, introducing physical activity and working out, whatever XYZ form you wish, right? You're going to have to do this day in and day out and develop that discipline to be able to delay instant gratification, to be able to not go after short-term satisfaction and go after your long-term goals, which is developing a better body, not feeling like shit, not being unhealthy, not looking like shit, and wanting to have overall more self-confidence, wanting to have overall stronger willpower, stronger mental discipline, and all of the benefits that come from the long-term consistency with this. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Number one, these are the three steps. These are the three steps to lose fat. Number one, be in a calorie deficit and decrease your daily calorie intake, which is going to be roughly, depending on how aggressive you want to be, 200 to 500 calories less per day compared to your maintenance level. You can do just that, but it's going to be a slower process, just cutting the calories. Number two, introducing the physical activity and exercise and introducing a method to burn calories and burn that excess fat is a plus now. Now you got this combination working towards you, right? Number three is the consistency and discipline to keep that going day in and day out. And if you follow those steps and you actually stay in a calorie deficit, you don't cheat and lie to yourself, and you work out daily and burn the calories, I guarantee I'll give you $10,000 if you don't lose weight over 6 months or 12 months. It's simply science. It's simply the biology of our bodies as working machines. And again, the science of thermodynamics, right? So, that was a quick little 15-minute breakdown on the secrets to losing fat. There's no shortcuts, there's no easy methods. There's no powder that can replicate that process. There's no powder you can take that's going to have you eating less calories. So there's some powders out there that can suppress your appetite. But at the end of the day, that's really just you not having the mental discipline and willpower to develop that strength yourself. There's no real shortcuts to this process. Somebody can't work out for you. They can't move your body for you. They can't cook for you. I guess, well, if you have money, you can pay for meal prepping and shit if you're rich enough. But it's better to do these things on yourself and take on that responsibility and take on that accountability. Because when you do this all yourself and eventually the changes come, it's all on you. You can be proud of it. You made those mental changes. You made those physical changes. You adapted to the trial and error. You dealt with the struggles and challenges that came with it, and you came out victorious on top. All right? So, that last 15 minutes was for all of my people in the audience who are fat as fuck, chubby, got man tits, got love handles, feel very tired, feel very exhausted, aren't happy with the way they look, don't want to be fat, because who the fuck would want to be fat? It doesn't make sense. There's no logic behind that. You know what I mean? But that's just my thinking. That's my 2 cents and opinion on that. But everything else I said is just fact. That's just fact, all right? That was for them. Now, the second half of this. If you were like me and you never really had issues with being fat or lazy in that sense, but you had issues putting on weight or putting on muscle mass, okay? Now we're going to break down the science of gaining weight as well as how muscles really develop and grow. And it's the same way that anything develops and grows is through challenges, stress, tension. And we'll talk about that in a second. So now, you might not be a fat person. You're very skinny, or you got that body type where you're skinny. You got skinny arms, but you got a gut hanging out. Or you want to have more strength. You don't feel confident in your body. You don't feel, for my men, you don't really feel like a man. You feel like a weak little boy. You wish you had more strength. You wish you had more muscle. You don't know how to start attacking that and how to go about it. Okay? I'm going to make it very simple for you. The simple science is behind it. First, the weight gain. We're going to talk about the weight gain first because it's the exact opposite of the weight loss. You have to consume more calories than your body can burn. But to gain muscle, you also have to work out, and I'll talk about that as a secondary. If you just consume more calories than your body can burn and use for a productive fashion, and you don't work out or weight train, then you're just going to be putting on fat. We don't want to do that. We want to put on lean muscle mass and overall muscle mass. But even when you're going through the process of putting on muscle mass, not all of it's going to be muscle. There's going to be a lot of fat. There's going to be a lot of excess water weight that comes in as well. And that's where people really start to bulk up. But that's where you notice guys put on weight and bulk up, but they have no shape. You can't see their muscle fibers or indents or cuts. You just saw that they got bigger. That's because they've gained some muscle, but they've also gained some extra water weight and extra fat on top of that. That's normal. Don't be afraid of that. But there is an effective way to gain lean muscle mass. It just takes a lot longer and a lot more discipline and consistency. So number one, for the person who's really skinny, you have to, again, go to Google, put in your go to a calorie maintenance calculator, and you're going to put in your age, height, weight, and your activity level, right? Be very honest here. It's going to tell you, okay, you're 6 foot, you're 130 pounds soaking wet. Like, fuck, you only need 2,000 calories a day to maintain your skinny bitch frame right now, all right? Because it is what it is, right? I'm not talking shit. I started out really skinny through my years of high school. Before I started working out, I was below 100 pounds for years and years. You know what I mean? So I was very skinny, ectomorph, very small. Like my bone structure is very small. You can see my forearm is pretty big because of the years of muscle building, but my actual bones, my wrists, my ankles, my bone build is very small. I'm an ectomorph, right? I was a hard gainer, started out as a skinny guy. So don't take any offense to this. It's just the fucking reality. Take it as motivation. So you're gonna find out your maintenance calories. Instead of being in a calorie deficit, you're gonna have to be in a calorie surplus. So let's just say that your maintenance calories are 2,000 calories. You want to increase that by 300 to 500 calories and be in a calorie surplus every single day on top of weight training and exercising because you want to make sure that those calories and extra calories are being consumed in a productive fashion by your body to go towards muscle building, right? If you just consume the calories, you'll gain weight, but you'll gain fat and it'll just be fat, right? You don't want that. So, number one, find out your maintenance calories. Number two, adjust your diet to be in a calorie surplus. Also, to build muscle, you're gonna have to consume more protein. It's almost 1.5 to 2 times your body weight and how many grams of protein you need to eat per day. So most likely you will have to throw in a little bit of supplementation with some whey protein shakes that'll help you get that extra protein if you can't get it all through food. But try your best to get all of your nutrients to the best of your ability through actual food consumption, okay? So number one, calorie surplus. Number two, you look at your body weight and that's how many grams of protein times 1.5 you're going to have to eat per day on top of also maintaining a healthy carbohydrate intake, as well as you do want some healthy fats in your diet that's good for your body. You know what I mean? You do want to get your omega-3s in. You do want to make sure you're getting in your other vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to properly fuel your body, okay? So that's the simple method to gaining weight. But step two of that is you want to make sure those calories, those nutrients get directly injected into the muscle building process. So now let's talk about how muscle building really works. The science behind muscle building is all of your muscles, whether it's your chest, whether it's your biceps, are built up by individual muscle fibers, okay? When you put your body through an exercise, for example, when I'm doing bench press and I'm pushing the weight forward, what's happening is I am contracting my chest and all of those muscle fibers are tightening up and going under stress and tension. And then when you go back and stretch, you are breaking apart the muscle fibers with every single rep. This is what creates that burning feeling, and this is what creates that buildup of blood and tension to your muscle, right? So essentially, when you're looking at it through a very simple lens, muscle building is the first part of muscle building is actually putting your muscles through healthy stress and tension to break down the fibers first. Right? So every time you're doing exercises, every time you're doing those weights, every time you are contracting and stretching those individual muscle fibers, they are essentially breaking down. Then, when the muscle is properly fueled and also properly rested, over that rest period, your muscle fibers build back stronger, more dense, and potentially larger. That is the process of muscle building. It is putting your muscles under stress and tension, breaking them down, then giving them the proper nutrients and time to rebuild stronger, more dense, and larger. That's simply it. So what does that mean? That means to build muscle, you don't need to lift an extreme amount of weight or try to be a power lifter. Muscle building is truly how much time are you putting your muscles under tension? That time is the volume metric, right? Now, volume is how many exercises are you doing a week? How many sets are you doing? How many reps are you doing? How many times are you hitting that muscle in a week? Or it could be also the tempo of your workouts. How slow are your reps? How much time under tension are you actually keeping your muscle under, right? So what you have to do is put your muscles through an extreme amount of volume. You have to push yourself to the limit. You have to do progressive overloading and try to push yourself to failure or near failure almost every single workout, right? Because what you're doing is putting your muscles under that time under tension, allowing them to break down, breaking those muscle fibers apart, and then during your rest days they're rebuilding even stronger. And consistency and consistently doing this over the period of weeks, months, and years builds the muscle, builds your frame. That's it. There's no secret workouts. There's no secret training plan that's going to accelerate this process. There's no shortcuts to that. No supplements can accelerate the process. Yes, there are some supplements that can help you get a bigger pump, more blood flow to your muscles and so forth, but truly you don't need any of that. All you have to do is hit those muscle groups the correct amount of times a week, put them under that intense amount of volume, consistently keep breaking them down, and consistently keep resting. So I'm going to suggest a workout split to the individuals here with the suggested amount of reps and sets that you should go for, right? So I would suggest because you will have to weight lift if you want to put on muscle, right? I would suggest a push-pull split. Very generic, golden era bodybuilding, Arnold split, very well known in bodybuilding and weightlifting as well. What this means is if you have the time, and obviously all of this is just suggestions from me, you're going to have to adapt the advice I give to your life because you may not be able to go to the gym as much because of work or because of other responsibilities you have, but you're still going to have to put in the same work in some way or fashion, just adjust it to your life, right? But I'm just giving very general, factual information now so people understand the simple science behind both, right? So the push-pull split is basically you going to the gym 6 days a week with a 1 day rest break. Okay, it could even be 5 days a week. Really, day one, let's just say it's a Monday, right? You're doing chest, shoulders, and triceps. All of your muscles that require pushing movements to develop. Your chest is majority pushing movements. Your shoulders are majority pushing movements. Your triceps are pushing movements to work your tricep. Dips, close grip, bench press, tricep extensions, and so forth, right? You're going to do your chest, shoulders, and triceps this day. You're going to want to do 2 to 3 exercises for each muscle group, but each of those exercises are going to be 4 to 5 sets, with each set containing 10 to 15 reps. You want to be in the higher rep range. You want to be in the higher set range. You want to make sure you're putting your muscles through enough volume to put them under that time, to give them that time under tension, right? The weight shouldn't be too low and it shouldn't be too high. It has to be a consistent, manageable level where you can feel there's a bit of struggle, and that it's going to take you some willpower to push the weight. But it's not high. It's not so high where you can only do 1 or 2 reps, and it's not so low where you could do 50 reps, 100 reps, right? You want to do a consistent weight that puts a healthy load on your muscles that you can feel, and you can only squeeze out 8 to 10, 12, 15 reps each time, right? Then the next day, you're going to be doing your back and your biceps. Same thing, 3 to 4 exercises for each, 4 to 5 sets for each exercise, higher rep range, 10 to 15 reps. The day after that, you're going to do your legs and core. Same thing, right? The exercises can be up to you. You can always change up your exercises, change up your plan every few months just to shock your body. But even a lot of that changing up of exercises and changing of plans, beginners don't need that. Beginners need to stick to something and develop that consistency and discipline and rinse and repeat it to get the results they need. After years of working out and doing that consistency, you may start to hit plateaus yourself. Then you can start to tweak and change things accordingly, right? But for beginners, stick to the bare basics, stick to the foundation. Then after that 3 days, you're going to take a break day and then repeat. So you're hitting each muscle group essentially twice a week and doing a lot of sets, almost 20 sets for each muscle group as well. If you do that and follow that weight training split and plan, on top of being in a calorie surplus of eating healthy and nutritious and nutrient dense calories, right? Again, cooking for yourself, meal prepping, being in that calorie surplus, increasing your protein intake, and having that volume with your weightlifting, I guarantee in 6 months, 12 months, you're gonna be putting on muscle mass. It is simply science of being in that calorie surplus, taking those calories and consuming them for a specific reason. The specific reason is to go fuel your muscles and rebuild them, right? So that is it. 30 minutes, the secrets to losing fat and the secrets to putting on muscle. You know what I mean? So I know that my channel is mainly trading based. It's mainly financial markets, psychology, and a lot of mental self-development. But too many people have been asking me about working out stuff and fitness stuff. Hey, Jeev, how do I lose fat? Hey, Jeev, how do I gain muscle? How do I do all these things? There's no shortcuts. There's no easy method to it. It's those steps and extreme consistency, willpower, and discipline to stick to it day in and day out and rebuild your habits to have more productive, healthier habits that promote a better physical well-being in life. All right? So, if anybody has any questions, let me know now. Anybody got any questions? Let me know now. Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing is if you're following my other self-development videos, all free, valuable information is everything is a cycle. As you start to eat better, as you start to work out more, as you start to develop that discipline, patience, and consistency, all of that behavior translates to other aspects of your life as well. This is a large or extra large, just a champion top. Yes, to lose fat and build muscle, I suggest the exact same style, the exact same workout split, same high reps, high volume, and consistency with the time under tension, but you're going to be in a calorie deficit, and I suggest adding more cardio sessions. So instead of having a 60-minute workout of just weights, maybe do 30 minutes weights, 30 minutes cardio. Okay? Because as someone who's fat and who's trying to lose weight but build muscle, the losing weight aspect's the same of being in a calorie deficit and burning calories, but the muscle building aspect's the same too. It's still the same method to build muscle. It's just that muscle is going to be under that layer of fat. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't worry about me, yo. I could crack a fucking walnut between my chest. No, I was joking around, but you can see my fucking pecs through the fucking hoodie, man. Don't worry about me. I'm giving you guys advice. You know what I mean? All right, everybody. For meals, like I honestly, if you go check out my Snapchat, I meal prep. So I eat the same thing every single day. I don't care. I don't. I'm sorry to say, I I only fuel my body for function. I don't eat for pleasure. I don't eat for a satisfaction. But that doesn't mean I'm not human. Of course on the weekends, I want to have a fucking donut. I want some cookies and milk. Like I got a huge sugar tooth, sweet tooth. I love sugar. I could eat like a whole bag of chocolate almonds or even just any other snacks, even sodium. I could kill a bag of chips in a sitting just watching some shit. You know what I mean? But it's about control. I've learned to eat where the 80% of my eating is for function. 20% is for pleasure. Also, with how you eat in a day, try to eat more consistent meals, like 5 to 8 meals, but smaller. I eat breakfast, which is usually just protein oatmeal. I have a protein shake after my workout. Then I eat about 2 to 3 prepped meals that I already have ready to go, and another protein shake at the end of the day. But I'm trying to gain more muscle and maintain muscle. So I obviously stay in a calorie maintenance or calorie surplus level. You know what I mean? And if I ever notice that I'm losing my abs or if I make the choice that I want to be more cut or have lower body fat percentage, all I do is cut back my calories every day and maybe introduce a little bit more cardio and let thermodynamics and consistency and discipline take the wheel. You know what I mean? All right. Where do you live? All these other questions. All right, so everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. My experience is like I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just somebody who has been working out for like the last 10 years since I was in high school and has gone through this process and has put an extensive amount of research just as much information that I've studied in the financial markets and have had to filter out all the bullshit and nonsense is the same thing that I've gone through in the fitness industry and nutrition and working out and had to filter out all this bullshit and nonsense to really see what the core concepts I need to focus on are. The core concepts of fat gain or fat loss is simply body thermodynamics, and the core concepts to muscle building is simply how the muscle works in terms of breaking down, rebuilding it, how it grows, and so forth. Right? All right, everybody, I don't want to make this webinar too long. Thank you for attending. I hope you all appreciate this content. I hope we can all work towards our Goku bodies, our Baki bodies, Hanma Yujiro, you know what I mean? Let's all try to look like anime characters. And I'll see you all later. You're going to watch this video and eat ice cream and crisps? Hey, I hope you enjoy. I hope you continue to get man titties. And you will probably get some heart disease later. But take care, man. I feel great. I feel confident. I love the way I look and feel. So I got no regrets. But it's all good. Everybody can do whatever the fuck they wish to do in this life. All right.